Hey, real talk for a second. If someone handed you $1 million right now, what would you actually do with it? Most people say the right stuff. Invest it, save it, buy a house. But here's the honest truth. Most of those same people would be broke again within 5 years. Not because they're dumb, not because they got unlucky, but because nobody ever taught them the thing that actually matters about money. Not the math, not the spreadsheets, not the stock tips, the psychology. The emotions behind every financial decision you've ever made. The fear that makes you hold on to cash when you should invest. The ego that makes you buy things to impress people you don't even like. The hope that keeps you in a bad financial situation way too long. Today, we're getting into all of it. This is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, one of the most important books written in the last 20 years, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never think about money the same way again. Plus, if you're learning English, you're in the right place. This whole video is packed with real American vocabulary, natural sentence flow, and the kind of English you'd actually hear in the US. All right, let's get into it. Quick question. Have you ever judged someone for a bad money decision? Like a family member who blew their paycheck on something stupid, or a friend who refuses to invest no matter how many times you explain it to them. Here's what Morgan Housel says about that. Nobody's crazy. Every single financial choice a person makes complete sense to them based on their own life. Think about it. Someone who grew up dirt poor, watching their parents stress about rent every single month. They don't trust Wall Street. That's not irrational, that's lived experience. Someone who grew up with a trust fund and a safety net. They invest without blinking because fear was never part of their story. We all see money through the lens of where we came from, and no two people grew up with the same lens. So the next time you want to judge somebody's financial decisions, just remember, they've lived a completely different financial life than you have. That's not weakness, that's just human. Okay, here's something that might mess with your head a little. Let's talk about luck and risk. You know that guy who started a business in his garage and turned it into a $100 million company? Part of that, absolutely his hustle, his grind, his smarts. But part of that, pure luck. Right place, right time, right market, right era. And you know that other guy who worked just as hard, just as smart, and still went bankrupt? Part of that might have been his mistakes, but part of it, risk. A recession he didn't see coming, a competitor with deeper pockets, a global pandemic. Housel puts it like this: nothing in life is as good or as bad as it looks. When someone wins big, we make them into a genius. We study their morning routine, we buy their book, but we totally ignore the luck. And when someone fails, we say they messed up, but we ignore the risk that was sitting there the whole time, just waiting. Here's the takeaway. Stay humble when you win. Stay compassionate when others lose. Because luck and risk, they're always in the room, even when nobody's talking about them. I want to tell you about a conversation that stopped me cold. Two incredibly wealthy guys at a party. One leans over and goes, "You see that dude over there? He's worth more than both of us put together." The other guy just smiles and says, "Yeah, but I've got something he'll never have. Enough." That word, enough. That's maybe the most powerful word in this entire book. Because here's the thing about America, and honestly, about people everywhere. We are terrible at knowing when to stop. We make more. We want more. We get a raise, we upgrade our lifestyle. We hit our goal, we move the goalpost. And somewhere in that never-ending chase, people start risking what they actually have for stuff they don't even need. Guys lose their marriages grinding for a bigger title. People wreck their health chasing a bigger bank account. They cross ethical lines just to keep up with the Joneses. Housel says it straight. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. So here's your homework. Ask yourself today, what does enough actually look like for me? Not what do I want next? What is genuinely enough for a good life? That answer right there, that's what protects you. All right, I need you to sit with this one for a second. Warren Buffett, one of the richest humans who's ever lived, made 97% of his wealth after his 65th birthday. 97%. After 65. Not because he suddenly got smarter at retirement age, not because he found some secret investment nobody else knew about, just because of time. This is compounding, and it's basically a superpower that's available to everyone, but almost nobody uses it right. Here's how it works. Your money grows, then the growth grows, then that growth grows on top of itself. At first, it looks like nothing's happening. It feels boring, pointless. But given enough time, it becomes absolutely unstoppable. The problem is, most people bail before the magic happens. The market dips and they pull out. Life gets expensive and they raid their savings. They start over from zero again and again. Housel says, great investing isn't about getting the highest returns. It's about getting decent returns and sticking around long enough for compounding to do its thing. Patience isn't just a virtue here. It's literally the strategy. Here's something nobody teaches you in school. Getting rich and staying rich, totally different skill sets. Getting rich takes boldness, confidence, taking shots, betting on yourself. Staying rich, that takes almost the opposite mindset. Humility, a little paranoia, the ability to survive when things go sideways. Housel breaks it down to two non-negotiables. 1, never go all in on a single bet, not ever. 2, plan for the plan to fall apart. Because here's reality. Life will throw curveballs. Markets crash. Companies fold. Jobs disappear overnight. Health fails. The people who come out on the other side aren't the ones who predicted it. They're the ones who left room for error. They kept a cushion. They didn't leverage everything they had. They planned for disaster, so when disaster actually hit, it didn't wipe them out. The mindset? Be optimistic about the long game. Be cautious about right now. Survive long enough and you earn the right to thrive. Okay, I want to ask you something real. What is money actually for? Not the stuff it buys, not the status it signals. At the deepest level, what is it actually for? Housel's answer, freedom. The freedom to wake up on a Monday morning and choose how you spend your day. The freedom to tell a toxic boss to take a hike. The freedom to be there for your family without the panic of how are we going to pay for this? Research backs this up hard. The happiest people aren't necessarily the richest people. They're the people with the most control over their own time. Someone making 80 grand a year with full flexibility over their schedule, often happier than someone making 200 grand who's on call 24/7 and hasn't taken a real vacation in 3 years. Housel says, the highest form of wealth is waking up every morning and saying, I can do whatever I want today. So ask yourself this, is the money you're chasing actually buying you freedom, or is it buying you a really expensive cage? Because real wealth is invisible. It's not the car in your driveway. It's the options you have that other people can't even see. All right, let's bring it home. You just learned something that most Americans walking around out there have never actually learned. That money isn't just numbers. It's emotion. It's psychology. It's the story you've been telling yourself since you were a kid. So here's what to hold on to from today. Nobody's crazy. Everyone's money behavior makes sense from their own experience. Luck and risk are always in the room. Stay humble about your wins. Define your enough before the world defines it for you. Compounding is your superpower, but only if you're patient enough to let it work. And real wealth? It's freedom, not stuff. If this hit differently for you today, if it made you rethink something, smash that subscribe button. Every single week, we break down another book like this: Real Ideas, Real English, Real Growth. Thanks for watching. Now go build a life that money is supposed to support, not one you're working yourself to death to afford. I'll catch you in the next one.